Today we're going to be taking a look at the Irwin Quick Grip. Now this is an 8-piece assorted set that you can get from Lowe's for just $29. We're going to also be taking a look at the Quick Grip that you can get from Harbor Freight, and also a larger Craftsman style that's got a 3-foot bar on it. So before we talk about this Irwin Quick Grip, I'd like to go over the Harbor Freight style that you can pick up. This has got a 6-inch capacity on it, and they run about $2.99. And if you use them for just lightweight work around the shop or occasional use, I think this is a real good deal. Another thing I like using them for is fastening temporary stop blocks on the miter saw and also the table saw sled. They work really good for that. And another thing I like using them for is when I'm making doors and I'm using the half flaps to fasten the corners. You can put that clamp on there, let the glue dry. Works really well for that also. You can flip this around, and then on this end you got a hole there with a sleeve in it. Knock that sleeve out with a hammer. You can flip this other end around, and now you've got a clamp that'll separate two boards. You just got to realize that that clamp is not going to put a lot of pressure on something without probably breaking. But just lightweight stuff around the shop, I think that's a pretty good deal. Now, as far as the Quick Grip with the long handle on it, or the long bar on it, this has got a 3-foot bar. Why I don't really like using this, the Quick Grip, when I think of that, I think of just one-hand use. And with all this weight out on this end, it's not really user-friendly, because not only are you having to operate these handles here, you've also got to deal with the weight out there. I don't really like using that for small projects. Take this end with a mash of a button, take it off and flip it around, put it back on, and now you have got a 3-foot clamp that will separate two boards, or at least up to 3 foot. So I thought that was pretty handy for it. And another thing, if you need to move this jaw out in small increments, you can do that. Or you can hold it down and you can slide it way out all at one time. Not that I use that Craftsman clamp ever, but there is some good uses for it that you might run across from time to time. Now, as far as the Irwin Quick Grip, we're going to open the pack up and we're going to see how well it compares to this Harbor Freight style. Alright, so we got the pack open, and we got 2 resin spring clamps, got 2 handy clamps, 2 6-inch bar clamps, 2 12-inch bar clamps. Alright, so the handy clamps, actually they say these are real good if you are clamping surfaces that's like not parallel to each other or straight or flat. Those tips on there does a real good job of clamping on them. And actually these clamps seem to work pretty good. So they spread out somewhere around 1 3/4 inches. Seem like they hold okay. I think for a lightweight job they'd be pretty good. They're easy to use. You can release it with one hand. Resin clamps, got 2 of these, and it's also got some swivel pads that should come in handy if you are clamping something that's kind of odd shaped. And actually the spring on these feels pretty tight. Then you have got the 6-inch bar clamp. Now this is just like or it's actually the same size bar clamp as we had with the Harbor Freight. Now, I wouldn't say these are heavy-duty clamps. And another difference on these and the Harbor Freight clamps, the Harbor Freight has the release behind the handle. And the Irwin has the release in front of the handle, which seems a little more user-friendly. But to tell you the truth, the Harbor Freight clamp seems to be made a little better. This seems to be a little thinner plastic. That seemed to release a little bit better than the Harbor Freight. Then we got the 12-inch Irwin bar clamp. And tell you the truth, both of these are made exactly the same, except for the 12-inch has got a longer bar. There is zero difference in the bar on the 12-inch and the 6-inch on those two. So both of those are a 6-inch bar. Not sure how well you can see the bar, but the actual bar on the Harbor Freight clamp is thicker and wider than the Irwin clamp. And the actual body of the Harbor Freight is a little bit bigger made than the Irwin. Just right out of the package, the Irwin clamps are actually smaller than the Harbor Freight. The Harbor Freight looks like it's a little bit better made than the Irwin straight out the pack. I guess time will tell how well these hold up. They're not quite as well made as I thought they would be. To tell you the truth, I will probably stick with the Harbor Freight until those fail. These spring clamps and handy clamps actually seem a little bit better made than the bar clamp that Irwin has. I'm going to give these some time in the shop and just see how they work. But to me, they just seem a little more flimsy than the Harbor Freight. Just remember, when you are buying tools, clamps, other tools for the shop, I would not buy them unless I absolutely need them. A lot of times we tend to buy stuff we think we need and we never use it. So there's probably a lot of wasted money on purchasing tools that you don't need. And also with clamps. Until I absolutely needed the clamps, I probably wouldn't purchase them. And if I thought I might be using them just for a limited time or something, I would actually try these Harbor Freight clamps. I know they're not the best in the world, but it seems like for the money, you really can't beat them. Anyhow, if y'all enjoyed the video, hope y'all got something out of it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one.